What's happening, fantasy world? It's your boy Hot Soup. Hey man, we coming to you live for week 14 overachievers. That's right, man. You know, some of those guys that were on benches, some of those guys that were on the waiver wires, and you guys failed to get them in your lineup, but had an astronomical day. That's right. We're going to start off with number one, quarterback. Man, look, this guy has been non-existent. That's right. For all of 2023 until this weekend, man, Desmond Ridder over in Atlanta throws 347, throws a touchdown, then rushes for 15 yards and a touchdown. That's right, man. I watched it happen. Y'all watched it happen. This guy went off for 26.38 fantasy points. Look, man, if you didn't have Desmond Ridder in your lineup, you probably went out and started C.J. Stroud or, hey, maybe Justin Herbert or somebody else that got you 4 points. I know a lot of y'all went and streamed Josh Dobbs. I bet you wish you would have went and got Ridder. Yeah, that happened in week 14. Look, man, it's any given Sunday. Y'all know what it is. Number two off my board, my boy Jay Fields. Oh, them Bears put it on Detroit. I'm talking about Detroit couldn't do nothing. Had Bears defense looking like Baltimore. Justin Fields goes off for 223 passing yards and a touchdown. He also had 58 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Justin Fields goes off for 24.72 fantasy points in standard scoring. Top 6 in the quarterback fantasy points scored. Look, man. He's going to have good days like this. He's going to have bad days. If it is a good matchup, I start Justin Fields in the playoffs. Let's go to running back. And I told y'all so on my I Told Y'all So episode, on my top 5 starts last week, I had Ezekiel Elliott. I told y'all he was going to get the ball at least 25 times. The man touched the ball 29 times. That's right. 29 touches, 140 yards, and a touchdown for Ezekiel Elliott, the number one scoring running back in fantasy this week. Ezekiel had 23.5 fantasy points in standard scoring. He was an animal. There's nothing going to change this week. He has a more difficult matchup this week, but he's still going to get you 25 plus touches. You got to get him in your lineups. Set it and forget it. Our next running back, James Cook. Woo-hoo! He didn't have to do a lot with the touches that he had. Man had 15 touches. What you expect out of 15 touches? 75 yards? James Cook gets you 141 yards this week and a touchdown. That's right. James Cook with 22.6 fantasy points in standard scoring. He was a top 7 back. Boy, you got to get him in your lineups. He's looking good. We're going into the playoffs with momentum. If the matchup is looking good, it needs to be a lock and load. And our third running back off the board, Breece Hall. Look, he had a terrible matchup going against a great run defense. Did not matter. They just targeted him through the air. That's right. Breece Hall with 18 touches, 8 receptions, 126 yards total, and a touchdown. That's not going to change. Their passing game isn't all that. He's going to be getting the ball a lot, getting dumped off early and often. Also, the Jets plan on playing from behind. So in those behind games in the fourth quarter, they're trying to get the ball down the field. Look, they're going to be dinking and dunking to Breece Hall all day long, man. I see 10 targets for this guy, along with 10 to 12 touches on the ground, game in and game out. He needs to be started in your fantasy football lineups from here into the championship. We're going to talk about receivers right now. Next person on the overachiever board goes to Drake London. I was just talking to my guy about Drake, man. 11 targets, 10 catches, 170 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. He went ape shit on the entire league. That's right. Drake London, 24.2 fantasy points in standard scoring. He was top 4 receivers this week in fantasy scoring. You got to get Drake London in your lineups if that matchup is looking good. It's all about Ridder, man. If Ridder does well, Drake London will do great during the fantasy playoffs. Next up, djmoore, that Bear. That's right. If Justin Fields went off, you know djmoore went off. djmoore, 10 targets, 6 receptions. He had 68 yards and a touchdown. He also had 3 rushes for 20 yards and a touchdown. djmoore ends up with 23.8 fantasy points in standard scoring this week. Bear down. Put it on Detroit. D-Town what? Come on, man. Chi-Town, baby. And our last receiver off the board for our overachievers is going to be Odell Beckham. Ooh, did he have a great game? Look, man, Odell Beckham, 10 targets, only 4 receptions, but went for 97 yards and a touchdown. That's right. Lamar Jackson is looking for him through the air, deep. 4 receptions, 97 yards. That's 24 yards per catch right now for Odell Beckham. If he's getting 10 targets a game, he needs to be started in lineups. That's right, man. Get those guys that are doing absolutely nothing, those high-priced names, and get them out your lineups for the fantasy playoffs. Sometimes we got to make a decision. Listen, don't be stupid. Going on our next overachiever has to be a tight end, Engram. Oh my goodness. Engram had the best game of his fantasy season this week. Went for 11 receptions, 95 yards, and 2 touchdowns on 12 targets. Look, man, 27 fantasy points for Engram in standard scoring. He was a monster. Not only was this a good sign for Jacksonville and for those owners of Engram, this is a great sign. And this is why. The defense he was going against was tough. It was a tough matchup. I almost benched him. If he can do this against a tough defense that's not giving up anything against the tight end, think about what he's going to do against defenses that do give up a lot of yards to the tight end. Let me tell y'all something, man. No Trevor Lawrence. There's going to be anytime you have a backup quarterback come in, it is a upside for pass catching running backs and upside for tight ends. It is what it is. Dump off city. Y'all know what it's going to be. And our last tight end to come off the board is going to be Davidnjoku. I was talking about Njoku 2 weeks ago. As soon as Watson went out and you get a backup quarterback, go with that tight end. It's going to be dump off city. There's no difference in this situation. He goes for 8 targets, 6 receptions, 91 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's 2 tight ends with 2 touchdowns this week with backup quarterbacks. Do y'all see a theme here? Do you feel the rhythm? Do you feel the rhyme? That's right, man. It's bobsled time. Cool runnings. Those are your top 10 overachievers for week 14. Come check us out for our next episode, top 10 underachievers for week 14. It's your boy Hasu. Find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Like and subscribe. If you're looking for the recipe, I got the ingredients. Holla.